fake this out, or,
Yeah.
maybe I should just do Strength Finders because that's the book that has it with. So talk a little bit about your tool. Don't give away any secrets, but, tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, it only takes about 25 minutes to complete. It's all done online. The results are instantaneous. The key is the interpretation of it. But let me just, again, getting back to the research, we gave this specific instrument, the tool that I used, to over 200,000 people in 23 different countries, every industry, every position. And we were doing this to try to figure out, is there something that high performers have that the others do not? Is there something that really kind of sets them apart? And what we found is that there's two characteristics, and only two. The elite 9%, so only 18,000 of this group, and they're called the genius group, right, which is why my company is named after. It's called the Talent Genius, is they shared high levels of self-awareness or self-knowledge. So the key is that the more an individual, the more you and I know about our strengths, our deficiencies, our style, what it is that fulfills us and motivates and drives us, we are in the absolute best position to select a career, a position, an entrepreneurial pursuit that's tightly aligned with the best of who we are.
Wow.
Doesn't that make intuitive sense? It's absolutely powerful.
It does. And, I don't know if you remember this, but many years ago, I had referred you to a client of mine. And this client wanted to coach with me. And I said, the only way that I will coach with you is if you and your employee take this assessment. And he was a little bit reluctant to do it, but he went along with it. And do you remember the results of that, where that particular person said, what your results were, that you told him that his employee had one foot out the door? Do you remember that story?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And he didn't believe you, did he?
No, he did not.
And because of that, he actually didn't believe the science, and it ended up destroying his business in one way, and ended up in a lawsuit because literally the guy left. You predicted it, and he left. So, I guess the moral to the story is, you really can't argue with science. There's nothing woo woo about this at all. So who's a
Absolutely
good
right.
who could really take advantage of this? Because right now we're in, the middle of COVID, and there are so many people right now that are hiring, and even the solopreneurs like myself, we
Sure.
also are hiring assistants, and
Right.
it's always a crapshoot. So, what is it that you can provide for us that is going to take the guesswork out of the hiring so that we have the best chance of actually getting high performers?
So again, the foundation of everything that I do is that you have to assess for success. And there, almost every client that I work with, we were able to quadruple their hiring success rate to 80% or higher. And so when you have these analytics and you know how to interpret the data, you can be spot on almost every single time. Now, whether you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a small like I've dealt with a lot of small companies, and it's been incredible in the last decade, anywhere from 5 to about 25 people. The smaller the company, the more important it is to have a talent, to have the best talent. There's nowhere to hide. A lot of times they have to be almost a little bit of a unicorn. They have to be good at admin and also good at customer service and some sales as well. It's a little bit longer to find somebody like that, but they're out there. And so, who you hire can make or break a company. This is what Gallup says. Companies that hire exceptionally well, on average, have three times the amount of revenue and double the amount of profit.
Wow.
That when you think about it, what difference would it make to use a system that's proven, that's scientific, that doesn't fail, and you could triple your revenue and double the amount of profit? Unfortunately, some people, their business isn't around long enough because they make too many hiring mistakes and they go out of business. So as far as your ability to scale, again, Gallup says that recruiting or hiring is the single most important function with a direct causality to revenue generation.
Now, John,
And they're
I
absolutely
know
right.
that you have, in the industry that you're in, you have a very unusual guarantee. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, The typical headhunter or recruiter will give you a 3-month guarantee. It's kind of the industry standard. My guarantee is 4 times that, and it's unconditional. It doesn't matter why the person happens to leave. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So if they happen to, die or get sick, or the spouse gets a dream job to Hawaii, it's irrelevant. I will replace them at no additional charge. And the reason I can do that is because I'm supremely confident, of the highest or ultimate level of confidence, because we have these analytics. They're really going to stay longer than a year. I can count on one hand how many people I've had to replace just this year.
That's quite a track record. It really is. And so who are the best, types of industries and the best type of clients that could get the most benefit from working with you, especially now when we're in a world where it's pretty virtual and COVID-19 is, causing, just like it's doing with the real estate industry, right? It's also causing a big change in the hiring. So, who are the best clients right now for you? Who can you help?
Well, I would say this is that the largest return on investment is in the sales function. Someone once said there's 2 challenges to to organizations: sales and everything else. So,
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. So, sales is one of the most challenging and most difficult positions to hire to. And it's also one of the most obvious if you get it wrong, because they're not delivering the revenue. You don't see, the actual, production. So, I've taken probably 100 different sales training courses and helped train and hire over, $1.5 million on the sales side alone. So anybody that has any type of, selling function, whether you're a small company, medium-sized company, all the way up to Fortune 500, because I've worked pretty much with every size company, because these principles are universal, it works with every company. It works with every industry. I've worked in hundreds of industries.
Wow.
It's just, it doesn't matter. It's a universal solution.
So if somebody wanted to take a test drive, because a lot of times, seeing is believing. And I know I've taken your assessment, and your interpretation just blew me away. It's just, it's almost like you think the person's psychic. But if somebody really wanted, they're a company owner, they have a team, they have employees, or they're considering, doing some hiring and growing their team, or maybe looking at their team from the standpoint of, where should I put my energy? Who should I spend time training? Because time is money. How can they best, because I know that, it's not a free ride, right? But we all need to experience it. Is there a way that, people can experience this assessment if they're serious about using it in their business, so that they can take a test drive? Can you talk a little bit about that in the last few minutes that we have?
Absolutely. So, firsthand experience is always best. That's when the penny drops. Typically, how I implement this is I ask every company, give me your very best performer and give me somebody who's really struggling. And in the hundreds and hundreds of times that I've done this, I have never been wrong, because the science is so exact and the science is so precise. It will tell me with that level of precision who the best salesperson is and who the person is that's struggling. I could give you more examples of this than we have time for, but it is very powerful. That's really, when they see that firsthand for themselves, they understand why 20% sell 80%. It's a total game changer. So,
John, for those people that want to find out more, how do we reach you? Can you give us a website, a phone number? What's the best way for somebody to reach out if they want to learn more about what the Talent Genius can do for them and their company?
Sure. You could just simply send me an email, and it's John, JOHN, at thetalentgenius.com. John at thetalentgenius.com. And again, as I mentioned before, the reason my company is named The Talent Genius is because it was named after that 7-year research study with over 200,000 people in 23 countries, because it was called the Genius Study.
Well, John, I am so happy to have had you on the show today, Unleashing LinkedIn. I know that on LinkedIn, people can reach out and find you there as well. And it's just been so much fun to go through and talk about your successes and how you can help so many people. Um, so glad to have had you here. I'm Rhonda Schur, the founder of Unleashing LinkedIn, helping you book 2 to 10 appointments a week using LinkedIn. I hope that we can see you on one of our next episodes. And remember, if you're not LinkedIn, you just might be left out. Thanks again, John, and I hope that everybody reaches out so they can learn more about the talent genius.